Is it possible for an individual to have success without a good attitude? The answer is yes, but their attitude will determine how much they enjoy the success. Sigmund Freud is an example of someone with a poor attitude who was otherwise able to achieve. The father of modern psychotherapy was hailed as a groundbreaking genius during his lifetime, wrote numerous books, and influenced several generations of physicians, artists, and thinkers. He has been called one of the most influential people of the 20th century. Yet from the time he was a teenager, he was pessimistic, skeptical, and often depressed. He tried to relieve his distress with cocaine beginning at 28 years of age. He believed that happiness was difficult to experience, and that unhappiness was the lot of most people. In his book, Civilization and Its Discontents, Freud wrote, "What good to us is a long life if it is difficult and barren of joys, and if it is so full of misery that we can only welcome death as a deliverer?" Without a doubt, his attitude, not his accomplishments, influenced his outlook on life. What's sad is he chose his discontent. Charlie Wetzel, who works with me on my books, recently underwent a change in attitude in his thinking concerning the process of editing. He is a writer and has never particularly enjoyed the editing process. It reminds him of when he graded students' papers as an English composition teacher. Recently, when we were working on my book, There's No Such Thing as Business Ethics, he received the edited manuscript from the publisher and was asked to review it, check the editor's changes, and verify facts. It's a process he normally hates because he thinks it takes time away from the writing he should be doing. But this time he decided to change his attitude as he approached the task. Rather than performing the task in short blocks of time during afternoons, because mornings are prime writing times, he blocked off an entire week just for editing, and he looked at the task as an opportunity to refine the manuscript and take it to the next level. As a result, the job was more enjoyable and the results were more effective. When you approach a task, especially an important one you don't relish, fix your mind on the facts, not on your feelings. Focus on the possibilities, not the problems. That will put your attitude on the right track. And if it starts on the right track, it's more likely to end up at the right destination. Your attitude can give you a winner's perspective. On June 28, 1939, Joe Louis defended his heavyweight boxing title against Tony Two-Ton Galento in Yankee Stadium. Galento wasn't a particularly talented fighter, but he could take a punch and he was a big hitter. In the second round, Louis knocked Galento down and seemed to be controlling the fight. But in the third round, Galento knocked the champ down. Louis immediately jumped back to his feet and went after his opponent. When Louis went to his corner, his trainer chastised him. "You know you're supposed to take a full count when you go down. Why didn't you stay down for 9? "What?" answered Louis, "and give him a chance to rest?" Louis pummeled Galento so badly in the fourth round that the referee stopped the fight. In today's competitive culture, everybody is looking for an edge. Top athletes and top business people alike know that all things being equal, attitude wins. But this is also true. All things not being equal, attitude sometimes still wins. Possessing a great attitude is like having a secret weapon. Your attitude is contagious. One of my mentors, Fred Smith, once told me that there are two kinds of people in any organization: polluters and purifiers. Polluters are like smokestacks, belching out dirty smoke all the time. They hate clear skies, and no matter how good it gets, they can find a way to make it gloomy. When the people around them in the organization breathe their toxins, they feel sicker and sicker. Purifiers, on the other hand, make everything around them better. It doesn't matter what kind of rotten atmosphere they encounter. They take in the toxic words of polluters in the organization just as everyone else does, but they filter the words before passing them on. What goes in may be gloomy and negative, but when it comes back out, it's fresh and clear. When you spend time with others, do they walk away feeling better or worse? Do you clear the air, giving them a fresh perspective and positive encouragement, or do they go away feeling gloomy? Watch how people respond to you, and you'll know which kind of a person you are. I discovered the importance of attitude in 1964 when I was 17 years old. My high school basketball coach, Don Neff, took me aside at the beginning of my senior season and told me that he wanted me to be the captain of the team. I was excited, but I was also a little surprised because I knew that my teammate, John Thomas, was a better player than I was. But then Coach Neff said something that explained it. "John," he said, "you have the best attitude on the team, and it influences the other players." Just a few weeks later, I was named Citizen of the Month at my school. Why? Once again, it was because of my attitude. My teachers said they loved my attitude. Then it sank in. My attitude was making a difference in my life, and it was making an impact on people around me. That's when I made my attitude decision. I am going to keep a positive attitude and use it to influence others. Your attitude is a choice. If you desire to make your day a masterpiece, then you need to have a great attitude. If it's not good now, you need to change it. Make the decision. Here's how. First, take responsibility for your attitude. After my wife Margaret and I had been married for 4 or 5 years, we went to a conference for pastors where I had been asked to be one of the speakers. Margaret also agreed to do a breakout session for spouses, and I attended her session. During the Q&A time, a woman asked, "Does John make you happy?" I have to say I was really looking forward to hearing Margaret's answer. I'm an attentive husband, and I love Margaret dearly. What kind of praise would she lavish on me? Does John make me happy, she considered. No, he doesn't. I looked to see where the closest exit was. The first 2 or 3 years we were married, she continued, I thought it was John's job to make me happy. But he didn't. He wasn't mean to me or anything. He's a good husband. But nobody can make another person happy. That's my job. As a young newlywed in her early 20s, she figured out something some people never learn. Each of us must take responsibility for our own attitude. If you want today to be a good day, you need to take charge of the way you look at it. Second, decide to change your bad attitude areas. I've read the Peanuts comic strip for years, and I've always been a big fan. I recall one strip in which Lucy announces, "Boy, do I feel crabby." Her little brother Linus, always anxious to relieve tension at home, responds, "Maybe I can be of help. Why don't you just take my place here in front of the TV while I go and fix you a nice snack?" Sometimes we all need a little pampering to help us feel better. Then Linus brings her a sandwich, a few chocolate chip cookies, and some milk. "Now, is there anything else I can get for you?" he asks. "Is there anything I haven't thought of?" "Yes, there's one thing you haven't thought of," Lucy answers, and then she suddenly screams, "I don't want to feel better." For the many years the late Charles Schulz drew Peanuts, that always seemed to be one of Lucy's problems. She didn't want to change in the areas where she had a bad attitude, and she had a lot of them. Many people are like her. There are things in your life you cannot choose, such as your parents, where you were born, or your race, but your attitude is something you can change. And just about everybody has at least a few areas in their thinking that could use some help. If you want to have a better day, then you need to go after those areas. The third step is to think, act, talk, and conduct yourself like the person you want to become. If you've been to any kind of class reunion 10 or more years after graduation, then you've probably been surprised by the transformation of one of your former classmates. The misfit who became a famous lawyer, the plain Jane who blossomed into a movie star, or the geek who founded a major corporation. How do such transformations occur? Those people saw themselves as they could be. Then they learned to act like and acquire the skills of the people they wanted to be. If you desire to change yourself, then start with your mind. Believe you can improve, then you can change into the person you desire to be. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." Develop a high appreciation for life. A friend emailed to me the story of a very together and independent 92-year-old lady who was moving into a nursing home. Since she was legally blind and her husband of 70 years had passed away, the move was her only option. She waited in the lobby of the facility for a long time before finally being told that her room was ready. As she was escorted down the corridor, her attendant described the room, down to the curtains hung on the windows. "I love it," the elderly lady enthused. "But you haven't even seen the room yet." "Just wait," the attendant responded. "That doesn't have anything to do with it," she replied. Happiness is something you decide on ahead of time. Whether I like my room or not doesn't depend on how the furniture is arranged. It's how I arrange my mind. Appreciation isn't a matter of taste or sophistication. It's a matter of perspective. John Wooden said, "Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out." The place to start is with the little things. If you can learn to appreciate them and be grateful for them, you'll appreciate the big things as well as everything in between. If you want to benefit from the possibilities of a positive attitude, you need to do more than just make the decision to be positive. You also have to manage that decision. For me, in the area of attitude, it means one thing. Every day, I will make the adjustments necessary to keep my attitude right. If this is new territory for you, you may be wondering how to do it. Here are some guidelines to help you on your way. Recognize that your attitude needs daily adjustment. I've discovered that a person's attitude does not naturally or easily stay positive. For example, a lifelong attitude weakness I've had is my impatience with people, and I still fight it. Every day I ask myself, have I been impatient with someone? When I have, I apologize to the person. I've had to do that more times than I'd like to admit. Like any discipline, your attitude will not take care of itself. That's why it needs to be attended to daily. The stronger your natural inclination to be pessimistic or critical, the more attention your attitude will need. Begin each day with an attitude check and watch for red flags signaling that your attitude might be in trouble. Find something positive in everything. Not long ago, I came across a prayer that I thought was wonderful. It said, "Dear Lord, so far today I am doing all right. I have not gossiped, lost my temper, been greedy, grumpy, nasty, selfish, or self-indulgent. I have not whined, cursed, or eaten any chocolate. However, I am going to get out of bed in a few minutes, and I will need a lot more help after that. Amen." It may not always be easy, but if you try hard enough, you can find something good, even in the midst of difficult situations. Find someone positive in every situation. Nothing helps a person to remain positive like having an ally. The world is filled with negative people. In fact, they often flock together. But positive people are everywhere too. You'll often find them soaring above the negative people like eagles. When you do, seek them out. If you're having a hard time, get close and draft behind them the way racers do. If they're having difficulty, you be the one to go out front and make things easier. Two positive people are much better at fighting off the blues than someone going it alone. Remove negative words from your vocabulary. My father retired in his mid-70s, but he has spent his entire life in public speaking. When I was a kid, he used to pay my brother Larry and me 10 cents for every grammar mistake we found him making when he was preaching. You can do a similar kind of thing when it comes to your attitude. You or someone you enlist can be on the lookout for negative words in your vocabulary so that you can try to eliminate them. Eliminate these words. I can't. If only. I don't think. I don't have time. Maybe. And say these words instead. I can. I will. I know. I will make time. Absolutely. When I made the decision at age 17 to maintain a positive attitude, I did it because it was giving me immediate positive results. That is what usually prompts us to make decisions. But as you get older and reflect more, you can see things much more clearly. Looking back, I can see the impact that my attitude has made in my life since 1964. In my teens, my attitude made me captain of the basketball team. In my 20s, my attitude helped me convince Margaret to marry me. In my 30s, my attitude helped me step out of my comfort zone by leaving my organization and taking a new position in California. In my 40s, my attitude kept me going during 8 years of red tape and conflict while trying to build a new campus for my church. In my 50s, my attitude allowed me to bounce back from a heart attack. I can honestly say that for 40 years, my attitude has been my greatest asset in influencing others. And as I approach my 60s, my attitude has motivated me to lead an effort to train and equip 1 million leaders internationally. I want to keep making a positive impact until the day I die.